The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this first video episode of the Conservative Enclave. We had to make some quick adjustments on the storage end, but it's all good. It is all good. It is all good. I appreciate everybody that is gonna come through and to see the show and see the faces behind the Conservative Enclave finally. Oh, I tell you, Miss Kell. Man, it's already Monday. It's already Monday. We already have a whole bunch of rubbish. But anyway, how was your weekend?
It was pretty good. It was quiet.
Okay.
For once, it was quiet. Quiet.
Well, it was quiet.
Yeah. I got some sleep for once.
No one rabble rousing in the backyard. Nobody rabble rousing in the backyard.
No, nope, not this time.
Okay. Well, yeah, I went to DC this weekend, and I checked out what the whole Brexit thing was about, and I can tell you what, there's a lot of young kids that are energized for just being able to come out, right, and come out and talk about their conservatism and all that good stuff. And I want to give a shout out to those young men, the few men that I met there while I was there taking pictures and stuff. I got to give them a big ups, for, stepping to the side of all that. Right. And just, standing up for what they think is right. That's what's beautiful about this country. Despite the dissent these guys got, marching around basically Lafayette Park. Oh man, when they actually marched around Black Lives Matter Plaza, that was just completely insane. It was completely, literally insane. I mean, there were people out there shouting, calling black folks house N-words and black Nazis, and I was like, oh my word, are you kidding me right now? And I was actually standing out there because people were trying to engage those people, and I kind of got in between them a little bit, and kind of was like, y'all just move on, man, because y'all don't need that. If those of you that read Breitbart, you'll actually, if you see the video from that march, you'll see me in that video in between the people. Yeah. So that was definitely an interesting experience, but it was good. I got a chance to go on the South Lawn and listen at the president say what he had to say. That was definitely another privilege. To see Trump not as close as we obviously we would want to, but he had that COVID-19, so
well, and he didn't
stand back
clearance yet, so he wasn't going to give it to anybody.
Right. I got a chance to talk to Mark Meadows for like 10 minutes. That was pretty cool. Talk to him, but I got to talk to him about a couple things, and we might have a surprise coming up for everybody on the Enclave here in a couple weeks. So we'll see about that. Let's we got a lot to get through real quick before we get to the meat and potatoes, but I want to talk about what's actually happening out there in California. California. Like,
what is wrong with California? Honestly, what is wrong?
California has lost their rockers. I'm gonna pull it up so everybody can see what we're talking about here. But
it is completely off the cracker. I mean, there's no other way to explain it.
He said off the cracker. So California rules to allow for 3 households to socialize. You hear this? Like this, just looking. I just want to read into the story real quick, right before we obviously have our little thingy about it. Right, the California Department of Public Health on Friday released new guidelines for private gatherings amid coronavirus pandemic. The guidelines are an update to household gatherings that take precedence over prior guidance that was issued recently last month. The guidelines now allow multi-household gathering outdoors, but are limited to 3 households. So as long as they wear a mask and follow safety precautions designed to stem the spread of the virus. And let's look at the guidelines real quick. Gatherings that include more than 3 households are prohibited. This includes everyone present, including hosts and guests. Remember, the smaller the number of people, the safer. Keep the households that you interact with stable over time. By spending time with the same people, risk of transmission is reduced. Participating in multiple gatherings with different households or groups is strongly discouraged.
Yeah.
Okay. The gatherings, check this out. Gatherings may occur in outdoor spaces that are covered by umbrellas, canopies, awnings, roofs, and all that good stuff, right? Provided that at least 3 sides of the space or 75% are open to the outdoors. I'm not even trying to entertain this. I am not trying to entertain this nonsense.
No.
So we go. Go ahead.
The biggest question is how in the hell do you enforce this? How do you enforce this? Because what do you have? The household police checking IDs for everybody there? Okay, so now you got to have your 2-month-old or your 18-month-old with an ID just to make sure they have an address on them. What on earth? This is completely asinine.
Yeah, it is. It is completely asinine. Completely asinine. It's just, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have people actually get a permit, right? Yeah. They get a permit to have a gathering. Is that where we're going?
I'm sorry, but there's not going to be any permits for a barbecue at the Champlin house. Y'all, come on. Okay.
And then the funny part,
crap. I'm sorry, it just not going to happen.
The funny part about that is you can't intermingle with other families. Only the families that you're going to intermingle with. Like, so what does that mean, right? I mean, think about this a minute, right? You have your immediate family, right? Then you have your extended family, and let's say your next door neighbor family, or neighbors on both sides, right? So who gets excluded out of that?
It's a good question. That's a really good question. I mean, because seriously, you gonna tell your parents that they can't come over to see their grandbabies because you got the neighbors coming over? That's not going to happen.
I hope everybody says, you know what? Hell to the no. We're good. We're out. And just what are they going to do? Are they going to literally arrest everyone?
And that was
seriously.
That was my other question, because there's nothing in that article talking about fines, about any potential penalties for going against this particular little caveat that they want to put in.
Right.
I mean, so if you can't police it, and you can't enforce it, and you can't penalize anybody for it, what the hell's the point?
I don't know. I'm just saying. Are they going to post up sheriffs on every single city block and or you're going to have a neighbor? Oh, I know what they're going to do. They're going to go ahead and enlist a snitch patrol. And then everybody, hey, look, guess what? There's people having a big party in the cul-de-sac. Next thing you know, you got like 60 people just whoosh, just right down on top of you.
You have like, 5 different squad cars 10 people in each. You know?
I know, right? Like,
look, you know me well enough to know that if something like that happens here, I'm just going to invite them in. Come on, no, we got enough ribs.
Enough ribs. I just hope I hope Californians just be like, you know what, we're done. Enough's enough. We're done.
Yeah,
and it's game over, right?
It's way past time for them to decide that.
Yeah, all these itty bitty towns. Speaking of the Rona, the WHO. Check out this back pedal, Miss Kel. Check out this back pedal.
Yep.
WHO said that lockdowns due to COVID-19 will cause economic damage.
I'm actually looking for the Captain Obvious commercial.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm pretty sure that we all knew 8 months ago, 9 months ago, that these kind of lockdowns were going to be detrimental to everything, particularly the world economy, and that's what they're worried about.
Everything. Whole thing. And now, oh, well, it's going to affect the economy. Well, I guess you thought, see, you know what it is, right? They thought they could bring America to its knees, right?
Yeah.
They thought they could bring America to its knees and have its economy collapse and then go to work, right? That's what they thought.
Not just America, but the European economy as well. Because the European economy was starting to take off as well at the beginning of matter of fact, over the last couple of years. But they thought it would cause the global economic system to go into a reset. That's not going to happen, folks. I mean, we started our recovery already.
Yeah, our recovery started during COVID. What a lot of people don't want to acknowledge. I mean, once people found out, it's like, okay, and they adjusted to, okay, we do curbside service. People figured it out.
Yeah,
real quick.
Yeah, they did. And we've always been a very adaptable society. Well, we've adapted.
Yeah. Yes, we have. Actually, I think I might have the actual audio clip from that too. Hold on, from what was actually said. Hold on, I'll take. I know I have it. Let's run the audio clip real quick. Let's run the beautiful bean footage. Maybe. No, I don't have it. I thought I had it, but I don't. But that'd be for another time. But a couple of doctors were conversating about it and saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, this whole COVID thing, the lockdowns aren't going to do this, that, and the third." And I was like, kind of the same thing that y'all thought about, HCQ, right? HCQ is so bad. HCQ is so bad. Blah blah blah. HCQ so bad, and I'm like, really? Is that what we're doing now?
Well, the doctor who's speaking out against the lockdowns right now is the same doctor who was saying that we would have 2.5 million or something like this deaths from H1N1 when that came through.
That's correct.
So for them to be backing off of this now means that they know now they were completely wrong, and that Sweden should be held up as the way that we should have handled this as far as lockdowns and herd immunity goes. The closest they can come, I guess, to admitting it. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's about where it's at, right? They're eating crow. That's a good one. They're eating crow right now because they realized that they really screwed over the world economy. They tried to, I mean, they screwed over America, right? Because we are the catalyst for the world economy. And when they did what they did, they knew what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were doing. They systemically, I'm gonna use that cliche word, systemically try to destroy America economically. But then again,
well, they kind of did. Okay, I mean, look at the suicide rates. Look at the drug and alcohol abuse rates. Look at the psychological backsliding on a lot of people who have mental issues already. Okay, because of social isolation.
Right.
What we also need to look at, they were talking in that article about a doubling of the world poverty rate by next year. I'm sorry, it took you 6 months to double the world poverty rate. Congratulations, guys, you did it. You're going to have a lot more kids dying of starvation because you were idiots.
Pretty much. I think actually I found the audio. Hold on, check this out. I'm gonna run the audio real quick so everybody can hear what this esteemed guy was talking about.
Okay.
But we had Professor Sunetra Gupta from Oxford University on, and she was implying, and I'm mentioning you because you have a global mandate, a global view, was that a problem we don't think about in lockdowns is that they're very nationalistic. That if we lock down our economy, then it hits our economy. But it also means we are not buying stuff. We're not trading with weaker economies. We are not just destroying our own jobs, we're destroying the jobs of all those that in the poorer parts of the world that export to us. That seemed to me to be a reasonable point.
Really important point by Professor Gupta. I want to say it again. We in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as a primary means of control of this virus. The only time we believe a lockdown is justified is to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, rebalance your resources, protect your health workers who are exhausted. But by and large, we'd rather not do it. Just look at what's happened to the tourism industry, for example, in the Caribbean or in the Pacific, because people aren't taking their holidays. Look what's happened to smallholder farmers all over the world because their markets have got dented. Look what's happening to poverty levels. It seems that we may well have a doubling of world poverty by next year. We may well have at least a doubling of child malnutrition because children are not getting meals at school and their parents in poor families are not able to afford it. This is a terrible, ghastly global catastrophe, actually.
And you guys caused it. You guys caused it with this misinformation.
2 weeks to flatten the curve turned into what? Damn near 8 months now.
Yeah. Listen what else he has to say. Hold on.
And so we really do appeal to all world leaders. Stop using lockdown as your primary control method. Develop better systems for doing it. Work together and learn from each other. But remember, lockdowns just have one consequence that you must never, ever belittle, and that is making poor people an awful lot poorer.
Well,
I mean,
nobody thought about this, did they?
They thought about it, but poor people, basically people that make under $100,000 a year, are not even on their radar. They don't care about these people.
No.
They don't care about the poor people, right?
No, they don't. Well, they didn't originally. They do now.
No, yeah, whatever. They still don't care.
Well, no. The only reason they're aggravated about it now is because now they're going to have to feed all of these poor people instead of the poor people being able to feed themselves. So now you're going to have an increase in the World Food Aid programs.
Right.
Where are you going to get the money for that? You're going to have an increase. You're going to have an increase in the farming output, just to put the food into those food banks. Where are you going to get that?
I guess they're going to put the destitute people that are ended up homeless on street corners. I don't know. I mean, hey,
get on the bus to go farm in California.
Hey, they already pimp us out anyway. Every time you get a paycheck, 7.5%. and 22%. So 30%, they're already pimping you, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So it ain't no different than just, hey, you need to go work that corner.
Yeah. You need to go work in that field over there.
Heck no.
Haul out to the valley, and you're going to work in that field over there for 3 days. You know, I mean, that's about what it's going to end up being at this point.
Yeah, you're right. You dead right. You are dead right.
I mean, for the World Health Organization to come out right now and say what they're saying tells me that nobody, when they were doing their little war games on this, nobody looked at the actual consequences. The only thing that they looked at was what the consequences were to the government systems, not to the economic systems down below the government level.
Right. That's exactly correct.
So why are we trusting these assholes?
I ain't trusting none of them assholes. You
Because,
ask me.
yeah, I mean, because we can't trust them to give us valid information that they don't back off of and recant and then put back in 2 months later.
Mm-hmm.
So they're flip-flopping on all of the information. Now we're going to flip-flop on the lockdowns and say, oh, well, it's hurting the world economy. Well, duh, everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So why do you guys keep encouraging the same things over and over again? If
Right.
you know it's going to do damage, why encourage it?
Because it obviously it benefits them, right? I mean, the same thing came down with the HCQ, right? Same thing with that, right? Oh no, HCQ was so bad, and they're like suppressing all these doctors that were using it with zinc and some other combination of stuff, and it was helping people and all this good stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like shut down. But see, here's a funny thing, right?
Yeah.
If we look at Germany, Austria, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, right? Spain, they're not actually seeing a second wave like we're seeing it.
They are, but not nearly to the extent that we're seeing.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, they're very, very mild.
Yeah.
I know that Madrid was talking about it, 3 days ago, 4 days ago?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But again, like you said, not nearly as bad. So where is the difference? We're not seeing any preventative medication being sent out. We're not hearing recommendations from our health organizations as to what we can take as preventative or palliative.
Right. That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
You know, if we choose to use hydroxychloroquine, if we choose to use zinc or vitamin D, or I've heard some people using tonic water and drinking that because it's got chloroquine in it. Why are we not hearing recommendations from our CDC about this? We're just hearing about masks, hand sanitization, and staying 6 feet apart. That's it.
Yeah. It's like they want us to potentially stay sick, right? That I think that's their end game in all of this. So they can capitalize, right? So China can still hold on to the pharmaceutical industry in the United States, and other countries can infiltrate with their food and stuff like that, right? I mean, that's kind of for me personally. That's kind of where it's at for me. I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot of times, but I'm hoping I'm not wrong here.
I don't think you are. I think it's just a bigger method of control. If people don't know what they can use to help ameliorate the symptoms or help reduce you're going to get this, then it really makes a difference. And I think it's a difference in their level of control over the U.S. population.
Yeah. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Scary thought.
Yeah, it is. It's terrifying. I mean, especially when you put together some other things that are going on in the country right now. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
horrible.
Yeah.
And
scary.
It honestly makes me wonder if come November 3rd, if all of this, and I'm not saying it will because I think Trump is going to win on this. I have to remain hopeful, y'all. If Biden and Harris get in, it makes me wonder if on November 5th they're not going to step up and say, "Oops, this was all a drill. Y'all good?"
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but you look at it. They've already said after November 3rd that this pandemic is not going to be an issue.
At least how they play it, it won't be an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. We're upon some uncertainty, and when I talking to a few people on Saturday in DC, a lot of them was expressing like, you know, what's going to happen if this bozo gets in office.
Yeah.
Right. And what, you know what I mean? What things are going to be implemented? I mean, just looking, you know, just looking on the surface from the physical stuff, and I'm kind of diverting, but I'll come back.
Mm-hmm.
I took pictures of where they threw rocks through the Department of Treasury.
Yeah.
Right. They threw bricks through the VA.
Yeah.
These people are already Trump scared. They're scared crapless of Trump.
Yep.
Right. They already have that fear in them. And if Biden wins, he's just there to advocate more for the violence. He's the one stoking the flames and the fear mongering, right?
Yeah.
And they think it's going to get better, but it's going to get worse. And they're going to wish Trump was in there.
Yeah. And we've said it before. The last thing you want is the quiet people who don't want to be bothered to get involved. Because once you involve the quiet people who just want to be left alone,
mm-hmm.
they're going to tear it apart.
Oh, yeah.
Just to put it back together in a way that the little Antifa groups or whatever the hell they are not going to like. They're not going to like it at all, because I could see Convention of States in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it too.
And you want to talk about changing some things.
That'll be the change they're looking for. That's for sure.
Yeah. So it's either way, we're treading a dangerous path.
Yeah. Yeah, more ways than one.
I think we have been for quite a while. And it's just getting more dangerous by the day. All
right. I'm going to leave that alone. Yeah, all that good stuff. We got to run the break real quick. So
sure.
If y'all are so inclined, y'all chill out, relax, do your thing, get your tea and crumpets and all that, and we will be back in just a moment.
Excuse me. Campaigns. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden focusing his attention on Ohio today with just over 3 weeks until Election Day. Biden going after Senate Republicans for holding hearings on President Trump's Supreme Court pick instead of voting on a new coronavirus aid package.
Why do so many Republicans today have time told a hearing on the Supreme Court with 22 days left to go, instead of providing significant economic recovery and needs for the people who are hurting so badly.
And Biden again slammed the administration's handling of the virus, calling the president negligent, which he says caused people to die. President Trump taking shots at Biden at a rally in Sanford, Florida, saying he's owned by the radical left and urged the crowd to vote for him.
Right now, I'm fighting to make sure we eradicate the virus, rebuild the economy, and save our country from the radical left. We're hitting record stock market numbers, record 401ks, record stocks, record job numbers. Don't blow it. Don't blow it.
Earlier this evening, the president's doctor said he had tested negative for COVID-19 on consecutive days. He has a full week of campaigning scheduled. The first vote of the Judiciary Committee for Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett set for Thursday morning. Today, she said people of all backgrounds deserve an independent Supreme Court.
In every case, I have carefully considered the arguments presented by the parties, discussed the issues with my colleagues on the court, and done my utmost to reach the result required by the law, whatever my own preferences might be.
The questioning of Judge Barrett begins tomorrow. America is listening to Fox News.
2020 hasn't let up, but we have to keep this economy rolling. NetSuite will help your business make that happen. That's why over 21,000 companies, including Boll & Branch, makers of the world's softest sheets, choose NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place. We talked to David Reed, CFO of Boll & Branch, about how they use NetSuite.
Before NetSuite, we were stitched together with spreadsheets and hope. Now we have only one source of truth for our financials, HR, inventory, and supply chain. Because NetSuite is cloud-based, working from home didn't change a thing. We're still bringing affordable luxury into homes all across America. I'm now closing the books 5 to 10 times faster thanks to NetSuite.
Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Fox. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
A new round of COVID-19 restrictions put in place in the UK.
Britain's Prime Minister says he doesn't want to stop people enjoying themselves.
But we must act to save lives.
With coronavirus case numbers rising here, Boris Johnson told Parliament new restrictions are coming for the worst affected regions.
In these areas, the government will set a baseline of prohibiting social mixing indoors and in private gardens and, I'm sorry to say, closing pubs and bars.
The city of Liverpool is the first to be impacted, although schools will remain open. Johnson says he's trying to avoid another sweeping lockdown, but the opposition party says he's lost control of the outbreak. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
A federal judge has upheld a Minnesota state court ruling that allows counting of absentee ballots received up to 7 days after Election Day, as long as they are postmarked by Election Day. The judge ruled that plaintiffs don't have standing and denied their motion for a preliminary injunction. Democratic Secretary of State Steve Simon agreed to extend the ballot deadline after a citizens' rights group cited voter safety concerns due to the coronavirus. Republicans argued the extension violates federal law that sets November 3rd as Election Day. A Wisconsin judge upholds the state's mask mandate.
St. Croix County Chief Judge Michael Waterman rules against a conservative law firm that argued in a lawsuit that Wisconsin's Democratic Governor Tony Evers overstepped his authority by ordering masks to be worn in all enclosed spaces except for homes, in a state that's seen a rise in coronavirus cases that state health experts say is attributed to back to school and fatigue over face coverings. This after the Wisconsin Supreme Court in May ruled the governor overstepped his authority in issuing his extended stay-at-home orders.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
America's ready to get back to work, but to win in the new economy, you need every advantage to succeed. Smart companies run on NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Fox. netsuite.com/Fox.
Hey, y'all, we're back. Appreciate y'all hanging out for a hot minute. So we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, Miss Kale.
Absolutely.
ACB had her hearing today, and I tell you what, her opening statement.
Yeah.
The girl was on. The girl was on it. I completely dispelled every myth, any lefty, any righty that was, on the fence about her. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. To basically, she was, I look at, she was defending herself instead of presenting herself to the Senate as a nomination. She was defending her nomination, and it shouldn't even had to have gone like that.
Okay, and that's absolutely true. It shouldn't have had to go like that. But she hasn't had a whole lot of choice. Instead of being able to present, here's what I've done, here's what I believe as a judge, this is how I want to, this is the legacy that I want to leave as a justice. Instead of being able to do that, she's having to defend herself against the idiots that have been screaming about her religion, about her being a colonizer. There are all kinds of things that they've attacked her for, and they've not really looked at her record.
Right. That's exactly correct. That is exactly correct. And Amy Klobuchar, y'all listen at this. Y'all listen at this rubbish. Y'all listen at this.
My mom, a second grade teacher, spent her life teaching little kids what was right or wrong, what was true or false. I still believe it matters, and so do the American people. But we are dealing with a president who doesn't think truth matters. And he has allies in Congress who in the past defended our democracy, but are now doing his bidding. Senators who clearly set out that the president, a precedent that the president in an election year should wait, that we should have an election, and that then the people choose the president and the president chooses the nominee. That was
full stop. Full stop a minute.
Yeah.
Full stop. That right there in itself is a bold-faced lie. Because again, I will remind my Democrat friends and my anti-Trumpers, non-Trumpers, all kinds of whatever you want to be anti against whatever is happening. Y'all need to go look at Judge Bork and what they did to him.
Yeah.
You need to go back and look at what they did to Mr. Estrada back in 2001. Go back and look at the precedent y'all set, right? They set this precedent in a fleeting chance to take control of the judicial supremacy that they created with Roe v. Wade.
Yes.
This is exactly what they did. And now they're like, oh no, we lost control of it, so we got to bring it back. Oh my God. And it's like, you set the precedent. And didn't Mitch McConnell say, Ms. Kell, didn't he say that they were going to regret the decision that Harry Reid made?
Oh,
and
yes.
Now they are like in boiling hot boo-boo right now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. And the really odd thing that I'm seeing is you had Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Mm-hmm.
She passed what, 93 by a vote of 93?
Right.
In other words, 93 senators voted for her.
Right.
There was another justice here, justice right before her that passed with 97.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do this in a bipartisan manner. Although usually it's been the Republicans saying, okay, you may not be a conservative, but we think that your record is impeccable and that you deserve to be here.
Yep.
Why is that such a difficult thing for the Democrat side to do?
Because they're just difficult.
I mean, because you've got Klobuchar raising hell over it. You've got Mazie Hirono raising hell. Sheldon Whitehouse, who, I'm sorry, the man's a clown. He just is.
Yeah.
Dianne Feinstein has raised serious questions about ACB's religion. And I'm sorry, I've never seen anywhere where religion was a test for becoming a Supreme Court justice.
Right.
It's just not.
Right.
And you know, if we're going to have religious tests about everything, we need to start testing Ilhan Omar. We need to start testing Joe Biden for his Catholicism. Let's actually start looking at this and start bringing it in. What you can't do is continue to legislate from the bench, which is what they want to do.
Right. And they're trying to flip the script, but we're going to get to Blumenthal because he said that in his little thing. We'll get to that. Let's listen to Amy a little bit, Klobuchar here a little more, see what else she's talking about.
Your precedent. It has been said that the wheels of justice turn slowly, and justice, on the other hand, can move at lightning speed, as we are seeing here today. We cannot, and you watching at home should not, separate this hearing from the moment we are in and from the judge he is trying to rush through. To respond to Senator Cruz, this isn't a rush to justice. This is a rush to put in a justice whose views are known and who will have a profound impact on your life. And yes, these policies that the court decides, they matter. Where you can go to school, who you can marry, decisions you can make about your own body, and yes, your health care. The president knows this. We have a president who has refused to commit to a peaceful transfer of power after an election. Every candidate does that, but not this guy. We have a president who has fired or replaced 5 inspector generals, Senator Grassley, who has fired an attorney general, an FBI director, and is now going after their replacements. We have a president who divides our country each and every day. He has called our military suckers and losers. He's white supremacists, and he has the gall to hold up a Bible as a prop in front of a church instead of heeding its words.
Can you say Karen? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Said, oh my God. He held the Bible in front of a church and oh my God, and the policies and the people he won't keep around so we can spy on him. Oh, how dare Trump.
I'm actually wondering when she's going to ask to speak to his manager. I mean, honestly, get more Karen than this.
Can I speak to your manager, please? Like, no, can I speak to your manager, please? Thank you.
Now, wait a minute. She was talking about the military here. And Mark Milley, when Trump said, I want to get the troop levels down in Afghanistan to 2,500. Oh, well, I'm going to have to do my research on that. I'm sorry. You're not the commander-in-chief, Mr. Milley. I'm sorry, General Milley. You're not the commander-in-chief. So what are we looking at here? I mean, my God, we've got Karen in the Senate. Now we have a Karen in the military. Let me call my manager and find out if that's okay.
All right, hold on. Let's find out if it's okay. Hold on. There's more. There's more.
To act justly. And now he says this election will end up in court. Why, Senator Cruz? Does President Trump matter? He is putting the Supreme Court in place, in his words, to, quote, look at the ballots, end quote. Well, I won't concede that this election is headed to the court because you know at home exactly what the president is up to. That's why you're voting. That's why you are voting in droves. Why are you voting? Well, you know that your rights, your health care is on the line. You know that they're trying to push through a justice who has been critical of upholding the Affordable Care Act, and they're doing it in the middle of a pandemic. And you can see here in this room the misplaced priorities of this Republican-run Senate. And it's in your hands to change it.
Chicken Little, the sky is falling.
The sky is purple.
The sky is falling. They're going to take your health care away. You're not going to be able to survive COVID because you won't have health care because they took the ACA away. Period. That's stupid. That is such, oh my God, that is such a wrong take on that. And it aggravates me to no end that she's doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. When was the last time? Now, when they put the ACA out originally, Obamacare, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They said they had to have what, 25 million people a month sign up for it in order for it to be self-sustaining.
Yep.
Yet we only have 20 people on the rolls of it, or 20 million people on the rolls right now.
Right.
How is it self-sustaining?
It's not anymore. It's not anymore because they stripped the individual mandate.
It never has been.
Right. And this is what my lovely Democrat friends have to understand. Obamacare no longer exists.
No.
When they took out the individual mandate and the medical device tax, that flattened ACA.
Yes, it did.
You just have a shell of what it was that's loosely funded, right? Through the government, and they can't put but so much money into it because there's depending on that individual mandate to drive the funds for that, calling it a tax.
Yeah. Instead of a penalty. Yeah. I just have to wonder, because that shell does still exist, what are they planning on putting into it?
I don't know, but it's actually that shell, the way it's already set up. I mean, it's the highway to universal health care.
Yes, it is.
The building blocks is in place. Yeah, the building blocks are in place. All they got to do is basically merge Medicare A and B into it, and that's it. Boom, it's done. It's a done deal, right? I mean, why do people think the VA has been around so long? Because it's been their experiment into that. That's exactly what the VA was for, to create that experiment to see how socialized medicine actually works. And obviously, the VA hospital is a crap hole.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you on that. I'm absolutely agreeing, because look, I can remember my grandfather. He lived in Jacksonville, North Carolina. He was an Army and Marine Corps vet. And I can remember him having to drive all the way the hell into Virginia to go for health care to the VA, because they didn't have one in Jacksonville at the time.
Right.
They didn't have one any closer. I think it was Newport News that he had to go up into.
Ooh, wow. That's not a short ride.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Especially not when you're 75, 80 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And with all the changes that have been made to the VA system here over the last 3 years, okay?
Right.
Yes, those are improvements. However, it's not nearly enough for what needs to be done.
Right.
And if you're trying to model, if you're trying to model the healthcare system of an entire nation on the VA system, we are so screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other,
screwed.
Yeah, there's no other way to put it.
So Mr. Blumenthal, he decided to open his pie hole.
Yes, he did.
What they call him, Danang Dick, or whatever what they
Danang Dick. Yep. And he still hasn't retracted that statement that he was in country now.
Yeah. Oh yes. I was over there. I was ha ha ha. I mean, what was he wearing when he was over there in Vietnam? What was he wearing? I don't know. Camouflage? I don't know. No one knew he was over there. I'm just saying.
He was wearing a cloth.
You had to find him with a decoder pin.
the Cracker Jack box decoder rings that they used to have out when we were
Yes.
kids.
Just.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, let's hear what this fool has to say real quick.
Your nomination is about the Republican goal of repealing the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare we seem to detest so much. It's about people like Connor, protections for people with pre-existing conditions, tax credits that make health insurance more affordable, bans on charging women more simply because they are women. That's what my Republican colleagues have been fighting to repeal for the last decade. They voted dozens and dozens of times to repeal the Affordable Care Act, and they have challenged it twice unsuccessfully in the United States Supreme Court. And each time they failed, but now, just 1 week after the election, as you know, the fate of the Affordable Care Act will be again in the hands of the United States Supreme Court. Republicans have turned again to the court to try to achieve judicially what they cannot achieve legislatively. President Trump has vowed that any judge he nominated would pass the very strong test, his words, and that they would strike down the Affordable Care Act. Judge Barrett, in all honesty, you have auditioned for this job through your academic writing and judicial opinions, and you've passed that test. In fact, you've stated twice in effect that you would have voted to strike down the Affordable Care Act had you been a justice at the time. You've been vetted, you've been screened by the Trump administration and special interests who want an activist.
What does Trump have to do with this?
They want someone who will legislate from the head and strike down laws supported by a vast majority of the American people.
No, I don't like general legislation.
That activism uses originalism as a smokescreen.
My biggest problem with this whole thing, and you're going to hear this crap through just about every Democrat who says it, the vast majority of Americans. Well, I'm sorry, have you actually talked to the vast majority of Americans? I just on the off chance that they would say you're being kind of dumb here. We can't afford this.
Yeah.
The ACA had the most abysmal health care on the planet at an extreme price with extreme deductibles. How was it helping anyone? The only thing that it really had going for it was the pre-existing conditions,
right?
Which is not hard to do on a standalone bill.
Right. I mean, Trump has laid out he's already laid out the groundwork with the executive order. All they got to do is act on it. But they don't want to act on it. Never mind. I was going to say a couple words, but we're on YouTube right now, so I can't say those words. But
the heel dragging over this is really driving me kind of nuts, because when you make generalizations like that, oh well, it's the majority of Americans. Have you actually talked to the majority of America?
Never.
So where are they getting this? Because the majority of Americans were having to pay that penalty when they paid their taxes at the beginning of, in other words, before April 15th. Okay.
Right.
It came with your tax bill. I'm sorry. It was cheaper to pay the penalty than it was to pay for health care. So where is that helping anyone? It's costing me extra money that I didn't need to spend, that I could put into cash or into a health savings account for myself and my family, instead of actually providing a solution. The Democrats don't have a solution other than Obamacare.
Right. You see, the other thing that disturbs disturbed me with that too is his knock on originalism when it comes to the Constitution, which he is completely dead wrong. Again, I'm gonna plead my case. It was Chris Coons yesterday. Today it is Blumenthal. Proves the case that the Senate needs to go back to the states. The people are electing straight up dummies, and I'm calling it what it is. They're electing dummies to the Senate that is supposed to be the check on the federal government. And you got some dummies sitting in the Senate talking about original. They're disguising activism as originalism, and I'm like, these non-originalists trying to justify why we should get away from originalism, except in cases of stare decisis, right? Yeah. Only in that case, originalism cares, but it doesn't care any other time.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm sitting here. It's like these people sit here and they profit off of wanting to make the Constitution a living document. By changing the language of this Constitution, just like he tried that wordplay with activism and originalism. No, you can't merge those.
No, they're two very different things. You can't be an activist and an originalist at the same time, which is why we have Democrats and Republicans. Sorry.
No, I mean, but here's the other thing too, right? And for Mr. Blumenthal. If my memory serves me correctly, there's a few court cases that kind of leveled out why originalism is important. The first one's United States term limits versus Thornton in 95, if I remember. Wallace versus Jaffrey in 85. Yep. And Lee versus Weissman in 92, 93, 92.
That one I don't remember. So
and McIntyre versus Ohio elections in 95. Right? Yeah. Those cases alone, right? Those cases alone proves that originalism, reading the Constitution, its original text, is very important. I mean, the framers, even down to the qualifications clause in the Constitution, right? Wrote that clause so you would have to read it in the context it is in. You can't change that.
You can't change the verbiage. You can't change the context. I think the most important takeaway for me out of everything that was said today, the most important takeaway for me is, if you want activist justices, then have activist justices. Do like Biden and Harris are planning on doing and pack the courts. Okay.
Right.
If you want to have our original system, our Congress needs to write bills that don't end up in the Supreme Court.
Right. That's exactly correct.
They need legislation that works for the American people, not against the American people.
Right. Or against the Constitution. The reason these bills end up in the Supreme Court is because of a constitutional issue.
This is why we have judiciary committees, though, Rod. Or we're supposed to.
What the hell are they supposed to do? What the hell are they doing?
They're not doing anything right now. That's the problem.
I mean, none of this crap, none of it should be even getting past the DC appellate court. None of it.
Yeah, but it is. Everything is kicked up to the Supreme Court so that they can legislate from the bench. Yeah. And I'm sorry, that's not how our system works.
Yeah, it's not how it's supposed to work. You're dead right. But Danang Dick isn't done with his feverish rants. Check this one out.
An activist judge on the bench doing what Congress could not do would also strike down common sense gun safety laws.
Skirt!
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
You just hit on my favorite one now.
Common sense.
Gun safety laws.
Safety laws. Isn't that kind of an oxymoron if you compare it to the Constitution?
Yes, it is.
I mean, I don't know anything about common sense gun laws or anything. So, can you help me out, Miss Kell? Can you help me out? Can you help me out? Poke. Can you help me out, please?
He is.
Poke.
I know. I hear you. He is absolutely terrified that she's going to go in willy-nilly by herself and strike down everything.
Everything?
Everything. It's in the way of the Second Amendment standing alone and not being infringed. He is absolutely terrified of that because a lot of the laws that have been instituted, I mean, we can go all the way back to 34, okay? A lot of the laws that have been instituted, just about every single one of them, as a matter of fact, they abrogate the Second Amendment.
Every single time.
Yep. But they're just common sense gun safety laws. You know what common sense gun safety is? Keep it unloaded till you're ready to shoot it. Keep your finger off the trigger. Know your target and what's beyond it. And don't put your finger on the trigger till you're ready to shoot.
You learned that.
Right there.
I remember learning that during rifle club in high school.
Yeah. A lot of people our age did.
And I know instructors now with CCWs teach it too.
Oh yeah, they still teach it.
What? I'm trying to figure out what the problem is.
Evidently, we have a lot of people in this country who don't have a lot of common sense if they need somebody to pass a law about it.
What you said right there. It's like, huh?
Yeah.
All 50 states, these just need to go to constitutional carry. Done.
Yep, absolutely. Get it over with. Get rid of JTF. Get rid of the NFA.
Yep.
Strip it back to the Second Amendment, period.
Yep.
That's it.
They skirt. They skirt, Miss Kell. They skirt. But Mr. Dick is still talking crap. So let's see what other crap he's trying to dump in the toilet here real quick.
Okay. It has been at the forefront on gun violence protection. On gun safety, Judge, you acknowledged that your dissenting opinion in Canner sounds kind of radical. That's because it is. But if your views on the Second Amendment are adopted by the Supreme Court, it would imperil common sense state laws like Connecticut's all around the country.
Strip it. Strip it. I want to see that Second Amendment stripped. I want it all the way back to the original. I want it stripped back to the original. I'm sorry. I am an originalist on this. I don't even want background checks.
Yeah, I mean, why have a background check, right?
If that's crazy that you can't own a gun, then your name ought to be in a system somewhere. In other words, you ought to have your butt in jail, not out buying guns.
That's right. Click, click. But our justice system loves recidivism. Our justice system loves recidivism. Come on now. That's why they keep coming in and out. It's like a revolving door.
We didn't start having a whole lot of trouble with this until we started closing down the mental institutions.
Yeah, you're right about that. But Da Nang Dick is not done. He ain't done yet. Oh, he ain't done. He's far from done. Hold on.
Jeez.
We ought to be working on improving American healthcare. We ought to be fighting COVID-19, which has infected 8 million Americans and killed more than 215,000. We should be producing a national testing strategy, instituting effective contact tracing, and securing sufficient PPE. We ought to be providing assistance to the millions of Americans who have lost their job and heartbreak. President Trump has failed to do any of it. Instead, he and our Republican colleagues are riveted on rushing a judge through this sham process, dropping everything else. President Trump's failure to act will likely lead to 55,000 additional deaths, 55,000 additional Americans lost over just the next 3 months.
I'll be right back. I don't mean to laugh at the intellectually dishonest.
Is that what it
was? But I'm gonna laugh at him. Again, this is why we need to get rid of the 17th Amendment.
It is. It is. Okay, well, at least he's closer to the surface of the matter with the 55,000 rather than the 200,000 that Joe Biden keeps insisting on. Nobody knows. It's a virus. You know?
Is it Zika?
No.
Oh, it's Corona. Oh,
it's Corona. It's not even
okay.
H1N1, which they completely ignored and killed actually quite a few people.
But here's the thing. Right, but here's the thing, right? I mean, he said we should be talking about healthcare. Okay, good. Where were y'all in August?
Yeah.
Where were y'all in July when you taking naps with Cabana Boys in Mexico? Where were you at then?
Yep.
You want to talk about we would do something about healthcare, but it's
but it would interfere with their vacation time.
Vacation with who?
Well, that's the question nobody wants to answer. I mean, that's the $1 million question right there. Vacation where and with who? I mean, because they all took time off. So what on earth,
I don't know. I you know how I say I don't know. Like they don't give a darn about the American people.
No, not that I'm seeing.
Never have, never will, and not ever going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. The truly frightening thing is he is so worked up about healthcare. He's so worked up about the virus. He's so worked up about firearms legislation. He's so worked up about everything. Yet, what has he done in Congress over the last couple of years?
Not insert choice word thing.
Yeah. So, all that worry for nothing, I guess.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so.
But anyway, we got to roll out this thing here, Miss Kell, man. I appreciate everybody coming through on the YouTube and all that good stuff. And checking it out. Obviously, this will be available for download on audio at midnight Mountain Time. So, it's still going to come to your iPhones, your Androids, and all that stuff. And ballots come out in Utah this week. Actually, tomorrow they start getting mailed out tomorrow. If you're voting by mail, do me a favor. Fill out your ballot and take it to a ballot box at your city hall, because that's where all the buckets are in Utah are going to be at the city halls. Take them directly to the city halls or the municipal buildings. Please, 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 please. That way there's only one transfer of custody. That's it. Period.
Yeah.
Right.
And here
and
here in South Carolina, we have early absentee voting. It's in-person absentee voting. So you can actually go in person to your local election office, or you can give them a call and find out if there are any outlying units. but I know that you can go to your local elections office and actually do an absentee ballot right there, and they will accept it.
That you heard the word. And for a lot of you that don't know, on November 3rd, UTA in Utah, UTA will be providing free transportation to the polls. So that's going to be good for you guys too. But, you know, like I said, I prefer everyone to vote in person if they can. Yep. But if they do the vote by mail thing, don't put it in your mailbox. Take it to your municipal building and drop it off in the ballot boxes that are available to drop them off in there. That way the chain of custody is on you and that box and the clerk. That's it, period. We don't need things getting lost in the mail, thrown in ditches, thrown in garbage cans, all kinds of nonsense. We don't need that.
Yeah.
We need less complications because we know this election will be challenged. Right.
Yes.
It will be challenged, and we want to make sure the votes are in order and on point to be certified by at least January 1st.
We want to make sure that you are part of the chain of custody for your own ballot.
That's right. That's exactly correct. So, hey, y'all, until next time, I appreciate y'all. Be easy and get some rest. And we will catch y'all again on Tuesday for the Social Lounge. If you love this episode of the Conservative Enclave podcast, head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It would be greatly and much appreciated. Make sure you connect with us at bpmg.us. Again, that is bpmg.us. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter and notifications on bpindependent.com to get your federal news updates every day. So until next time, and in liberty and in his grace, God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless these United States of America.